everybody, I'm Gillian. I'm from Gilliangladrag and from the Corporation of Craft Klub, and our latest craft project was making Sven the Deerhead, which we did last night in the studio here. So I'm just going to run through the very basics for those of you that have bought the kit to make this and want some guidance on how to do it. Basically, in your kit you will have got this papier-mâché deer head, and you will also have got a selection of fabrics like this, and then a selection of wool yarns like these, and also some gorgeous wool tops, which is called Glittery Unicorn, which has got silk and sparkles running through it, and then also some tinsel and some pieces of felt. And it's a combination of those things that's going to turn your papier-mâché deer head into Sven the Deerhead. Quite different. So I'm just going to talk you through it. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to cut up your fabric and start sticking it on here. So you will need some glue. Any old glue will do. So you can literally just use PVA or just the cheapest glue you can find, really, as long as it sticks fabric. If you've got proper fabric glue, then even better, but don't stress about it. We used PVA last night, so that's fine. And then you probably need a small paintbrush as well to paint it on with, and you can paint over it because it dries clear, so you need a clear drying glue. That's another important point to make. So all you need to do is choose your fabrics and get them all chopped up. So I would cut them up into pieces that are about 3 or 4 centimetres, that sort of size, because you're going to need to slather on the glue, but then you're going to need to put the fabric on and really get it to mould around the shapes. So don't use pieces that are too big, because it will be much easier to do if you use smaller pieces. And then obviously you're going to overlap them as you go. You're going to cover the whole thing up to the antlers. So you're going to do all of the ears, you're going to go behind. I'll show you the one I've done, that's probably slightly more sensible. So all around the face, behind here, the ears, and just overlap it slightly, so go slightly higher than you need to the antlers, because then you're going to overlap that and wrap the wool over the top of it later. And then once the whole thing's covered, oh, and use the fabric, you know, use different colours next to one another, don't use all the same colours next to each other. And then you can use I just used a piece on the end, on the nose there, that looks sort of slightly nose-like, sort of hexagon shaped. So, you know, but really have fun with it. You can use any colours that you like, and you can put it anywhere you like. The only thing you need to make sure is that it's completely secure and that it dries in the shape of the deer head. So once that's done, then you're going to move on to the antlers. Now the antlers are wound round with lots of wool yarns. You've got 3 different sorts of yarn in your kit. So you've got like a fluffy mohairy yarn, which is beautiful, and you've got a multicoloured sort of regular yarn, and then you've got another yarn that's got bamboo in it, which gives a little bit of a sheen and is kind of a slubby yarn, so it goes thick and thin. And then you've also got the wool tops. So it's a combination of these that are going to wrap around the antlers. Again, you need lots of wool. Sorry, not lots of wool. Well, you do need lots of wool. You need lots of glue, is what I meant to say. So get plenty of glue on, and then you are literally just, wherever the glue is, obviously, wrapping the wool around the antlers like this. And just do it as neatly as you can, as tightly as you can, and the glue will keep it in place. Now, inevitably, you're going to end up with little gaps, so you can just sort of wrap the wool around the gaps. You can see how quickly it happens. It's not complicated. It's easiest actually if you do cut off lengths so that you've got an end to work with. So I would recommend cutting your yarn into lengths before you start. That will make it a lot easier. So you can see how I've done that like that. And then obviously securing it off with the glue. It gets very gluey, but that's fine if it dries clear. But inevitably you're going to end up with little gaps, little areas that aren't covered in yarn. And those are the areas that you're going to put the little felt flowers onto. So I'm going to show you how to make those in a second. So first of all, covering with fabric, then covering with the yarn, and also the wool tops here. So this is basically unspun wool, the wool tops. and it's a blend of this beautiful silk, the sparkles, and the wool itself. What I recommend you do is you just pull a length of it from the side like this, and then you can just elongate it very slightly, and then again you can just start to wrap it around the antlers in exactly the same way, but it's slightly more fluffy because it's not been spun. Look how pretty that looks, gorgeous. So you would just stick that on, stick that down, and that will help you fill in some of the gaps, but like I said, really it's the felt flowers that are going to fill in the remainder of the gaps. So get the whole thing covered as much as you can anyway, and then you've got lots of different little squares of coloured felt, ready-made felt to choose from, and you're just going to cut out your little shapes from these pieces of felt. So simple, don't get bogged down in detail here, but I would literally just cut out a disc about the size of a 2p piece. If you're in the States, I have no idea, or other parts of the world, which coins are the equivalent, but something about that kind of size. Okay, and then a really, really simple and easy way to make a daisy is to just snip it into quarters. So at 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 3 o'clock, okay? And then I'm just going to do a 4-petaled flower here just to show you, and then we're going to just round off those corners. So simple, and a brilliant way of getting it nice and even so that you don't end up with all your petals being different sizes. So I'm right-handed, so I'm just going to do the right-hand side first, and I'm going to turn it round, and then I'm literally just going to round off the other sides, and then you should end up with a pretty even 4-petaled flower like that. Okay, let me just hold it up against something dark so you can see it. Okay, and then you can cut yourself out a little disc to go in the center from a contrasting color like that, and then you can cut out some little leaves from some green and really have fun with it. Again, you know, it doesn't have to be exactly what I've done, but you can see I've done like a big pink one here with a smaller red flower in the center and then a yellow dot. This one's got some green leaves sticking out, and then I've put some right on the ends of all the antlers here just to hide the cardboard, and they just look really pretty. So have a go with that, and again you can make some of the petals pointy and you can make some of the petals round, so just sort of mix and match a little bit and do what you fancy. And then last but not least is the pom-poms and the eyes. The eyes are just literally pieces of felt that have been stuck on in sort of rough eye shape, and then a button stuck in the centre. You should have 2 buttons in your kit, a button stuck in the centre. I would do those very last because you need lots of glue to keep them in place, and you'll need to just leave it to dry. So I would do those last, and then you can be making the pom-poms while they're drying. Now these pom-poms, I'm sure you've probably made pom-poms before, but these are wool tops pom-poms. So instead of wrapping your pom-pom maker with yarn, you are going to use the wool tops. Again, I would pull off lengths that are probably not the full width, but that kind of thickness, and they're going to go around your pom-pom maker in exactly the same way you would normally make a pom-pom, but it's much faster. And of course you can add in some of your leftover bits of yarn as well, so you can add in some of this, you can add in a little bit of the tinsel yarn as well. You can see in this one here there's some sparkly bits. If you don't own a pom-pom maker, don't panic. There's loads of other ways of making pom-poms, but one really cool way, because they're so small, is to make them around a fork, believe it or not. And I've outlined this in the instructions, and I've also given you a link to a YouTube video that shows you how to do it very nicely. So you can have a quick look at that if you don't own a pom-pom maker. But I do recommend investing in one, actually. They are brilliant. The set that we sell has 4 different sizes in it. This is the smallest size, and you can literally make loads of pom-poms in half an hour if you use wool tops. I also outlined that method on my blog as well, because I suddenly came up with the idea last year and I blogged about it. So take a look at that if you're interested in making more pom-poms. And then lastly, you see that I've put some tinsel around the antlers there, but I've also made a lovely tinsel scarf using the tinsel yarn, which again is brilliant. We sell this separately by the ball as well, in lots of colours. I've just made him a little tinsel scarf, and the other purpose of this is to provide a method of hanging him up on the wall. So if you see, pretend my finger's a hook, you can just hook his scarf over something and hang him on the wall very easily using the little tinsel scarf. So the purpose of that is twofold, and there he is, all ready to go. So once he's done, you can hang him anywhere, on the wall, or above a mantelpiece, and so on. And so I hope you enjoy making him, and I hope you have a successful outcome. And now I'm just going to add on the end of this video some edited highlights from our craft club night last night, which we broadcast live on Periscope. It's a little bit fuzzy in places, the quality of it, but hopefully you'll be able to see what was going on, and we all had a whale of a time. So I hope you enjoy making yours just as much. Thank you, bye.
Yes. When we were doing the bunting last time, Kerry's husband was watching, and she was talking all about all the jewellery and things you could put into the little pockets, not just chocolates. She wanted some jewellery and some.
It's like the decker patch, basically.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's nice doing it with material. Ooh.
Yeah.
And cut it, I did.
Do you?
Yeah.
You can tear it though.
You could tear it,
yeah.
because it would probably blend better as a toy.
Gosh, yeah, because it's such a huge project. Yeah.
Really?
You can't just sit down in of an evening and do it.
The big one like this I just did all in the same colour, which is a bit boring.
So where will he go when he's done?
God knows. I was actually going to do him. I did him for a friend. She's got a thing about reindeer, and I said to her, "I want to give this to you for Christmas." She went, "You're not, are you really?" And I thought, "Oh."
Too big.
So I'm now stuck with him.
What have you got?
That's food processor.
Oh no!
No, I wanted one. Yeah, I wanted one with a big arm so I could eat some bread at the same time.
Which one have you chosen?
I haven't chosen anything in particular. I just said I wanted a food processor. That's brave. I'm not that.
Caroline's not very particular about things.
Better stop you taking a picture. To get ready. I need to take my nappies.
Lovely. And if I only get to the second one,
looking
then
good.
okay.
I know when I got to the.
I've changed the title of the broadcast this time.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, have you? I just said
They do.
And they're all with you there.
Oh, never mind.
You know, stick it back on again. Just use a little bit of glue, maybe.
Very good.
I'm getting very confused now with what I've got and what I haven't.
Is it easier now that you've cut them into length?
Yeah, I like it in the length.
Okay.
Yeah, it is because it does. It gets. No, yeah, this is. Yeah, they're not. Some of it does come off it. You have to trim it.
The bamboozle's lovely then. This is from the bamboo.
I was going to say because
Otherwise known as viscose. When your clothes are made of viscose, it's bamboo. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, that's looking good. Very pretty.
It's very impressive, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, look at Lyndon.
I know she's off.
I'm going to go round.
It's in
Lady
Primark. Oh no. It's like IKEA. Yeah. But small stuff. It's something you don't know you need. Yeah, yeah. Angie, let me show you. Stay there.
I like the colours. Very good. Very nice.
Totally random.
That looks good.
Tiger. The kids love it in there, don't they?
Tiger.
Yeah.
You like it in there,
Like
don't
they're perfect customer, just like oh, it's only 99p! Yay! I can buy loads of these.
you? Yeah, it's clever because it's like a cross between a pound shop and IKEA. Mm.
Very good.
Not too big, not as daunting as IKEA.
Although I do need to go to my carrots.
They're going to open some IKEA shops, aren't they? I've heard.
You put flowers on these. Yes, so where you end up with a little triangle, and at the end I've covered up with felt flowers. So that's what we'll do with the felt.
With the same. I wonder if it will be.
Yeah, I did when I was teaching. We did we paired up with them, and so I got about 3 or 4 days behind the scene, which was quite interesting.
You?
Yeah, I did.
That'd be quite. Which one did you go to? Croydon.
Yeah, same down the road from me.
Yeah.
But no, they actually make a loss on quite a lot of stuff, just to get people in.
Oh. Yeah, but that's not that. It's a sort of.
Today 10.
9:30, 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's not past 11. I'm happy to see. To go home and see if my children have killed each other or if they're all still in one piece.
Is Ben not home? Is that not home?
I won't be home until about 10 of it.
Oh, really?
So, I did leave them shouting at each other.
No, but Tim's
Cut the wool, Jill.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's definitely a good idea.